What's up?
Hey,
How you doing, brother?
good. How about you?
Good. All is well.
Good. A
How's
little
your
bit
morning?
good. Good. It's been a good morning. It's been a little cool and rainy, and I made it back to the shop in time for our chat. Good. It's all good. How about you?
Uh, Good. Same. I'm here in my new yard. I'm in my car. It's raining now, so I'm. I was going to get under the tent, but it's a little cool. So I'm in the van with the heat going.
Look, yeah, I'm like 500 miles north of you, so it's also colder here. I'm outside though.
Sorry about that. Um.
Nope.
So what we're gonna do is introduce yourself uh, briefly. We're gonna get into some questions, and we'll get into your journey after.
Sounds good. Yeah. So my name's Nicholas Hamilton Holmes. I run a wood shop where we make furniture. We do custom furniture, we do production furniture, and we do special edition furniture. Um, we touch a lot of areas of the market. We're a young business, so it's been important to be
Okay.
nimble. Yeah.
Where are you located?
We're in Hamilton, Ontario, which is near Toronto. It's about an hour west of Toronto, Ontario. Most people know where that is.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to get into the questions so we could uh get to know you a little better.
Yeah. Awesome.
If you had a chance to go to the moon, would you?
No. I mean, is it guaranteed safe?
No, it's a chance you got to take, man.
No way. No, I'm just going to stay here with my tools. Why do I want to go to the moon? I bet you they don't even have wood on the moon.
Right, that we know of.
If that's true, there could be some real magic wood up there. I don't know. Maybe. You know what? Like, I'm at this point in life, I'm trying to reduce all risk. Like, I used to be, young and do dangerous things and have fun. And now I'm the opposite. I'm like, let's do interesting things and be really safe all the time. So going to the moon, I don't know. Probably not.
All right. What word or phrase do you overuse?
Ooh, I'm sure you'll hear it here. I don't know. I try not to. That's a big pet peeve of mine when, the words keep getting used. It's probably something like totally, or I don't know, some type of cool white boy slang that I think is cool.
All right. What is your least favorite thing to do?
So many. Uh, I don't like cleaning. I'm really bad at cleaning. I'm trying to get better at that, especially around the shop. As we become more professional, I'm trying to keep the professional space clean. Um, that's probably one of my least favorite things. And around the house, um, my wife and I early on uh, got a cleaning person to help us clean our house because neither of us like cleaning, and we're both busy people. And you know what? Best decision we ever made. But I don't have that at the shop, so sometimes I got to clean my shop.
Do you make your bed before you leave?
No. No one does. Geez, we're getting into all the skeletons in my closet here. I do not make my bed. I mean, sometimes Saturdays I get to sleep in. That's the rule at our house. I got two little kids, so my wife sleeps in on Sunday. I sleep in on Saturday, and on that day when I'm the last guy up, then I'll make the bed. Then it feels like I should. Usually I'm the first guy up though, so that's a good out. If your wife gets bed, you can't make it, right?
I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Good.
What is your most favorite thing to do?
Well, I really love being outside in nature. That's one of my it's my church, maybe you might say. When I go out in nature, hiking or camping or anything like that, it really revitalizes my spirit. It helps me forget all my stress and feel positive about life. I mean, of course, I love working in my shop. That's probably my favorite thing to do. I've built my whole life around designing and building things. So that's like my happy place. But when my happy place stresses me out, I try to get out into nature, and whether it's hiking locally or going away and camping. I just came back from a camping trip last weekend. It was really good.
Where'd you go?
We went. It's called the French River. It's just north of here. Beautiful backcountry camping. A friend of mine has a boat, so we just hop in the boat and motor off to an island, set up camp, and do fishing. And we did some mushroom foraging, and just drinking beer, having a good time, like not worrying about anything.
Right. How old are your kids?
I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I have a almost 2-year-old son.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a growing family. It's good. It's kids really, I found, just force you to knuckle down on life. Like there's no option. You got to be full on all the time.
You're not living for yourself anymore.
No. But I'm really happy that I was able to, before I had kids, able to get in the right lane for work and happiness that way. So now I can, work hard all week, make sure I'm around with the kids in the evenings and the mornings. But then on the weekend, I take the weekend off every weekend and, spend time with the kids. It's really important. And that also helps me stay happy and balanced. And how about you? Do you have kids?
Yeah, I got a 22-year-old.
Nice. Awesome. So you're way down the line from where I am.
Yeah. And he and I, we were always in different states, but he spent the summers with me, and we camp out a lot. I am in old Volkswagens. We spent one summer camping in a Volkswagen and going to roller coaster amusement parks all over.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So
it's all about the quality time, really, right? With kids.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has different styles of family, and different situations. But when it comes down to it, what you remember, what your kids remember are like those quality times when you're happy,
Yeah. Because when he was younger, we'd travel a lot, and a lot of times I'd sleep in my van.
Yeah.
Like last night I drove to Vermont to deliver a table, and on the way back, I spent the night in my van. And when he was younger, he was down. Everything was cool.
Exactly.
Now, forget it.
Yeah, no. He wants a hotel now. Time for a hotel. Let's get a nice one.
Yeah, and a nice one. Not just a hotel.
No. It's got to be nice. Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. Kids, like I said, I think you would agree. Kids keep you humble and hardworking, well, you should anyway. That helps. Yeah.
Yep. What is the one thing your spouse or significant other would like to change about you?
I don't know. That's a good one. One thing she did change, which they say women can't change men, but I would say they can, but they shouldn't.
When you want to be in there, you'll change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I used to be terrible with time. Like I grew up in the countryside, out of the city, pretty slow lifestyle. My parents grew up in the countryside. So my sense of time was really messed up. Like my last name's Holmes, and my friends used to call it Holmes time. Because they'd say, okay, let's meet up. We'll go skateboarding at 3, and I'd show up at like 3:30 or 4. Like, hey guys, what's up? And it didn't seem like a big deal. But now, I mean, my wife's the opposite. She's like very organized and great at taking care of business, and so pretty much right away in our relationship, she was like, slowly teaching me to be better with time. And now I'm really good. Today I texted you like 6 times about, oh my God, I might be late. I don't know. But I tried my best, and sure enough, I made it. Because it matters to me now to be on time. So I would say that would be the big one for her. I mean, what else? I don't know. I think we do an okay job of balancing each other. I wouldn't say she's got a big complaint about me.
Okay, cool. What makes you tick?
I'd say, I don't know if you can hear that. We have a grocery store behind us, and they have a loudspeaker, so might interrupt a bit.
Clean up on aisle 1.
Oh, big time. But it's a Chinese grocery store, so it's all in Chinese. I don't know what they're saying, but what makes me tick?
Okay, wait a second. There's a Chinese grocery store next to you.
Yeah.
Have you learned any Chinese from hearing that?
No, it's loudspeaker Chinese, so it's like rah, 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 rah.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, tech. I would say creativity, man, is the biggest thing that I kind of started noticing when I was a kid, in my teens and in my 20s. I started zeroing in on, okay, creativity makes me happy, whether it's consuming other people's creativity or if it's expressing my own creativity, sorting out a way to make creativity work into, making money or, whatever resources I have available or, things like that. So that's probably my biggest driving force is, how do I be creative? How do I express myself? And then integrating with other people. That's a really exciting part when, people are excited about the creativity and they consume it and then they talk about it, like talking to you, for example, is fun and exciting. And yeah, so I'd say that's the biggest main factor of me is creativity.
All right. What irks you the most?
What?
What irks you the most?
Oh, recently I've been talking a lot about cords and ropes not getting organized nicely. This is a small trivial thing. I mean, but when you're trying to run an organized situation and have all these tubes and cords and ropes all over the place, it's important they're organized nicely. So it's been big on my list the last year. I don't know, because it sucks when a tool cord breaks because it's been wound too tightly, or you got a knot in your extension cord, or a rope that's all twisted and tangled. It drives me crazy, and it's one of those things that is preventable, but it's also a pain in the butt. it's a trivial thing, but I try not to get too big picture about things that bug me. It's easy to get like annoyed by other people or drivers or politics or whatever, but I try as much as I can to just go over that and keep it simple. So my biggest thing would be cords. Cords irk me.
All right, cool. What sound makes you happiest?
Hmm. Um, any music, really. I mean, I'm big music fan. I listen to music probably 6-7 hours a day because
What kind of music do you like? Who do you like?
everything, man. I'm all over the place. I'm lucky enough I grew up with a lot of musicians, friends, and then those people are also people who dig into music real deep, whether it's historical music or it's underground music or whatever. So they've influenced me a lot, telling me what to listen to, and then I'm still digging as much as I can, trying to find interesting new things. And now that we have access to music in a completely different way than when I was a kid. We can stream almost anything we want anytime. It's kind of mind blowing, to consider what it was like for my dad to listen to music, and sit down and listen to a record, and that's cool. I like that a lot, but I can do that anywhere, anytime. Like when I was camping with my buddy last weekend, we had an iPhone full of albums, maybe 150, 200 albums. We had our little Bluetooth speakers. We were like, living the most rich musical life anyone has in history on a remote island in the middle of nowhere. And that's, mind blowing that we have that ability. So that, just stokes me every day. So if I'm feeling, like this morning, actually this morning I was feeling a little stressed out trying to get here, and I needed to sort of blow off some steam musically. So I put on an old Vandals record, which is an old, California punk band. And I haven't listened to that in a while. And it hit the right spot. Tasted good, felt good. I listened to that. And then I listened to a little bit of like Swedish, kind of electronic-y, disco-y, retro stuff from 2020. I listened to that on the way here. That brought me up to like this real happy mood. Sometimes if I'm down, I'll listen to quiet classical music, or if I'm feeling, focused, I'll listen to that kind of music, or jazz, or I listen to like, honestly, there's no type of music I don't like. I love all music.
Okay. Are there any particular musicians that you prefer?
Not really. I mean, like specific bands and stuff. I'm trying to think of like a go-to, because again, with being able to download things, I download albums all the time. I have my classic bands that I've listened to forever, but it's always building. You know, I like I like everything. I don't even almost want to mention any one because I like them all equally. But like, let's see. The new Bill Callahan record's really good. Have you listened to that? You know Bill Callahan? No.
Nope.
Good. He's pretty like I don't know. It's pretty poetic and singy. It's good. And then this new Swedish dancey album's really cool. I'm also really bad with names. I'm not a name guy. You know, some people, they like something and the name gets embedded in their brain. I'm more visual. So when I go to listen to the music, I'm like picturing the album cover. So I could explain to you the album covers that I like right now, but I can't even remember the artist names, you know?
Right. Yeah. I'm the for someone who's also visual, I'm different with music. With music, I try my best to, and this is just my opinion, I try my best to remember who performed as a matter of respect or reference to if I was to tell someone about it.
Right. Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, put them in your and get ready to pull them out whenever someone asks.
Exactly. Yes, and I think that started with me wanting to listen to it again and own it.
Yep. Be a part of your life, permanent part of your life. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
What sound bothers you?
You know, if you work around machines, you know what they sound like when they're working well, and you know what they sound like when they're being used well, and you know what they sound like when they're not working well. But whenever I hear those like weird noise, oh, something's wrong, that bugs me because, okay, I got to stop doing, I got to figure it out. Or if it's, you know, my apprentice or someone else working with me, you know, I hear them doing something a little funny, then I got to go over and talk to them about it. That doesn't sound right, you know, which is a kind of a cool thing. It's almost like music, you know, the sound of sweet machine music.
Yep.
And you know, they mess up too. Yeah, I'd say that'd be the biggest one when something's not working. Like I've actually had 2 flat tires in 2 weeks. One on my truck, like my truck rear tire deflated. So that was a sound I didn't like. And then 2 days ago, I was driving my trailer down the highway and I had like a tire explosion. That was a bad sound too. So now I have this like PTSD in my truck when I'm driving. I hear like a or like a fa fa fa. What is that? What's happening? What's broken? You know. So I guess I just don't like when things don't sound the way they're supposed to, because that means there's a problem and that means I got to fix it, and I don't like that.
What were you towing on the trailer?
A kitchen. It was so we do some just bespoke kitchens too, some really high end kitchens. So I'd loaded all the cabinets. I'd gone to my painter and packed the whole trailer full of like, you know, like a lot of value. We're talking like, you know, 20 grand of manufactured value plus, you know, what it's actually worth in the market, completely full. And like, we're talking, I'm ripping down the highway at whatever, 80, 90 miles an hour. And then just like, quack, 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 poof, when I look back and there's just a tire goes flying down the road, and it's a very densely populated area that I'm in around here. So on the highways, they're like 3-4 lanes and you're surrounded by cars. There's like 50 cars around you. So it was, you know, it was a real sketchy situation. And luckily the trailer towed perfectly, despite the fact it was running on a rim. And I was able to go across the 3 lanes, get in the shoulder and get to safety. And you know what, the load in the trailer did not move. Like, as far as I can tell, I mean, I opened it up, I looked at it, everything looks good. So I'm like, whew, no one got hurt, no damage, and you know, it's all good. This is just shit that happened. Yeah, but now I got a tire. Look at it. Pretty messed up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, could you see it there? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I got to fix that today or tomorrow. Luckily, I have one of my buddies is a real technical guy. With, you know, he's good with mechanics. I'm not the most mechanical guy. I'm more like, I'm good at making things out of wood and you know, sculpting and stuff like that. And I'm okay with mechanics, but when you have problems like that, you really need someone who's mechanically, you know, good and interested and has the tools.
But all you're doing is changing the flat.
No, but I mean, yeah, but the rim, so the bolts coming out of the hub were rusted so bad, and that's my problem. That the nuts were stuck on. So I tried to crank them off. I ended up getting a breaker bar. I ended up snapping 4 of 5 bolts. So now I have a rim. Was stuck on. I got it off, but now my bolts are snapped, so I need to replace my hubs. And if I can't replace the hubs, I'm going to have to replace the whole axle,
No,
basically.
no, 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 no.
No? What do we do?
No, 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 no. If you got that hub off, put it on your metal workbench, heat it, bang them out, go get new ones, press them in.
New bolts. Cool. Yeah, we might go that way. This is why I'm bringing my buddy Mike over here to, like, help me, because I don't know. I don't have any experience with that stuff, but that's great. I appreciate that advice. And that's kind of what he was saying. He's like, maybe we'll get the hubs off if we can get them off. I mean, this is just a single axle, free running axle trailer. So all the parts are super cheap, right? Like, you can get an axle for $300. Not that I want to throw this one out if it's still good, but
yeah, just pop those bolts out, press all the ones in, and keep it moving.
Cool. Yeah, that's the most important thing, because I still got to get this kitchen site, and I got a lot going on. I don't have time for
Yeah, a trailer rebuild.
Yeah, that's not my thing.
What profession other than your own would you like to try?
Oh, I think about this a lot, because I'm so deep in my life right now. Like, I'm waist deep in family and in business, and that's good. It's all good. But I'm often fantasize, okay, what would I do? And, like, I've been recently on YouTube, I was watching a bunch of biker gang movies or videos, and I'm like, about the Hells Angels and I forget the other one. But I was thinking, oh, that'd be cool. If I didn't have a family, if I didn't have a business, if I had a real, like a fuck off life, pardon my language, that'd be cool. It'd be like a brotherhood. I'd ride around on my motorcycle. I wouldn't care about getting hurt, back to the getting hurt thing, Not that that's a positive lifestyle. But I fantasize, you got to fantasize sometimes about what you can
do every day, all day long.
Yeah, and there's tons of stuff I'd love to do. Play music. I never really played music. I think that would have been fun, although that's a really tough lifestyle. I don't know, every day.
Musical license, unless you're lucky and great.
Yeah, no, I know it looked so good for so long. When you're 17 to 25, you look at the musicians and you're like, damn, these people got to sort it out. Like, they're so, everyone loves them. They're sexy. They're expressing themselves. But then it's like you're 35 and oh fuck, that was a bad decision.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, and a lot of them can't handle the pressure, the stress.
Yeah, it's a tough life, really tough. That's why I respect music so much too, because most of those people, similar to sometimes my experience, you're putting out creativity, you're just dumping it out all the time, dumping, and then you don't always get it back. You don't always get money back. You don't always get recognition back. Often it's like you get nothing, and that is hard. It's hard to persevere through those times, and so I respect musicians hugely. Yeah, we got to figure out a way to pay them better. I think sometimes I feel guilty about the streaming. I don't know how it's working out for them with streaming, but it would be nice. I mean, buying albums I think is a good way, buying records or whatever.
Well, okay, now so that points to a very interesting conversation, right? We need to pay musicians better. I completely agree. But the country that I live in is so built around capitalism and greed, to part of them not being paid well is to someone else's benefit.
Yeah. Corporate benefit, right?
Yeah. Some greedy guy wanted to take advantage of some guy who didn't know what was going on.
Yep.
And makes money off of him.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's just okay.
Right.
Yeah, it never ends.
You know what though? Let me just say, I mean, I think they're one of an optimistic angle on that, which refers to design studios like mine or musicians or whatever, is that now we have the internet, and the internet's a very complicated tool, you know, that we're still figuring out how to use. But it gives us the ability to say no, thank you to the corporations. I understand what you're offering me; it's not good enough, or I understand what you're offering me; I'm not interested. And to do your own thing, and to build your own thing. And I think if you persevere over time, trying to do your own thing, eventually, with the help of the internet, I think you can be very powerful. You know, you have a lot of independent people coming up these days that are getting extremely powerful on their own platforms, if you will. And I think that that's a really cool trend, and I think it can work for music. It can work for design. It can work for anything.
It does.
Yeah, it's not easy though. It's incredibly hard. You know, like it's hard to get all your money taken by a corporation. That's shitty. But to do everything yourself on your own back, that's even. I mean, it's very, very hard. Also.
Yeah,
You know?
it's equally difficult.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Because there's so much you don't know, and in some way or another, you're still being taken advantage of. It's just not necessarily about one particular person.
Yeah, exactly. But I think in the long game, you know, if you get over all those hurdles and you build, and develop in the long game, I think that's when you really win. You know, I'm hoping that's my goal anyway, is to, you know, by the time I'm 50, have like a really robust business that's known for all the things that I care about, like quality and style and design, and you know, and okay, it's going to be really hard, you know, through my 30s and 40s, but I love it. So if you're like musicians are, or you're passionate like artists are, you got to just keep your eyes on the prize and drive at it. And again, say no, thank you. If the deal doesn't look good, you know, just don't do it. Forget it. Keep true to yourself. You know.
If you could afford to, some people can't afford to walk away.
Absolutely. Well, and I think, you know, I agree absolutely. But you have to be good at being able to afford to. Like when I first started independent I went to college, and then I worked for companies for I don't know, 5-6 years, and then I went independent. And the only way I could do that was to buy a rig to install kitchens for builders, for home builders, right? So I go to a big development site and I slam in kitchens day after day. So I do that, you know, I'd work 14, 16 hours a day to get a kitchen and a bathroom and like install so much work in one day to make, you know, $700-800. So that the next day I could stay at home and work in my little shop to start designing and building furniture, you know. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn or say that, you know, I work hard. Why doesn't everyone? But I'm just saying, if you're really passionate about something, you figure out a way to make that money. Maybe it's not your passion, but it's like a way that funds your passion, you know. And you do both. That's the hard part, doing both, making the money and doing the passion. And yeah, it's hard.
What would you like on your tombstone?
Um, um, Loved by everyone. How's that? Loved by everyone.
Yeah.
And
What is it about?
I was gonna say loved by everyone and loved everyone. You know, just positive, something positive.
All right. What is it about your personality that drives your business?
Um. Right now, I'd say it's the refusal to fail. You know, like this trailer issue. You know, I worked for like 5 hours on the side of the highway to try to get it fixed before I had to tow it back to my shop. Anytime an object or something my way, it's like, nah, it's not gonna. It might slow me down, might fail today, but it's not gonna fail overall. So it's a refusal. I think that's what, um, you know, that's what ultimately gets the job done.
What is it about your personality that hinders your business?
Probably my interest in different things. Um, I'm continually trying to focus down to the most important things. Um, and that's a skill in itself to be able to figure out the best route. So yeah, I would say it's just like being interested in creative. That can be a problem, you know, if you lose your focus.
Who would you travel cross country with on a motorcycle ride?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I have a lot of buddies that I would first because I know that they're reliable. And if it wasn't a buddy, it would probably be some type of idol, which I'm trying to think of what that would be. You know.
Okay, give me a buddy. Which buddy would you go with?
Well, let's take my buddy Mike, who I just went on the camping trip with, and who's going to help me fix my trailer today. You know, he's a reliable friend. I call him, he's like a 1950s dad. You know, like he's got all the tools, he's got all the knowledge. He likes drinking a little bit. He loves his family. He's got his kids. He's a chill dude. And if the motorcycle broke down, he'd fix it. Or if we want to stop for lunch, he'd be happy. He's just a chill dude. So it would be Mike right now. But I got tons of buddies. It would be awesome. Maybe we could do a gang, like a bunch of guys.
What was your favorite concert?
Favorite concert? Let's see. Well, the one I'm thinking of, because there hasn't been many this year, and also just having kids over the last few years, it reduces your ability or your desire to go do anything. But I did go to an outdoor festival with my daughter and my wife and some other friends and their kids, and that was really cool because the kids were involved. I could walk around with my daughter on my shoulders, and she could see, what performance is and music, and feel the music, feel the bass, and eat snacks, and we all sat on a blanket. Like, it was really cool. That I'd say in top of mind right now, that was cool because it's family framed. But I also had a lot of fun when I was young, just dancing. And yeah, I don't know, you're probably looking for an artist. I don't know. I don't have a good artist. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Do you have any childhood nicknames?
Holmes. All my buddies call me Holmes because it's like a good nickname in general, and it's my last name. I don't have any cool ones like Scooter or, I don't know, stuff like that. Yeah, that's it, really. Holmes. Almost everyone I know from my childhood calls me Holmes.
All right.
Yeah.
When was the last time you cried?
It was recently. It was a let's call it a heated discussion with my wife about responsibilities and just working out family stuff where she's like, I blah blah blah, and then I say this blah 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 blah, and it just hit me. I was just like so overwhelmed with stress, and I just started crying, and she realized at that point, wow, okay, he's trying his best, he's under a lot of stress, he's doing everything he can, and it was crazy. It was like a break. I don't often have breaks, but it just hit me. Yeah.
Breaks are needed.
Yeah. Luckily, I haven't had a lot of sad things happen to me. Knock on wood. In the last few years, it's been good. All positive. A lot of new humans. Not losing a lot of humans. It's been great. So, just stress. Stress can drive you to cry.
Tell me about it. What impact do you want to leave on the industry?
I'd say creativity. Just I'd love to be eventually a part of a canon of images and identities that are known for pushing the culture creatively. Doing weird things and things that work and that are functional and weird and people really enjoy. That's what I would hope. That's kind of my goal. Financial success is not something that's number one. Creative success, I think, is important.
Okay.
Yeah, probably it.
When was the most difficult time for your business, and how did you overcome it?
I mean, probably those first couple years, which I'm still kind of in. I'm in my fifth. I think September marks the 5th or 6th year of independent business.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. Probably those first 3 years when I was seriously double timing all the time. And I didn't know anything about anyone. I didn't know. Yeah, I was just constantly putting myself out there, whether it's like physically working or digitally, like contacting people and throwing my hat in the ring and never getting any calls back, and shaking hands and making conversations. And I mean, I still do that all the time, but it's at first you get no return. There's no, people are just like, okay, yeah, whatever. It takes years for people to be like, oh yeah, that guy, I remember I met him, or I remember seeing that work, and I guess he is legit, but it takes years of grind to get to that point. So it's probably that point in my business. I mean, we're still so young. I'm sure we'll have a lot more struggles, but right now we're just growing, in terms of building the shop and hiring people and getting more and more work. So it's a stressful time, but I wouldn't say it's a hard time. It's just a change period, development, which is good. It's just, you got so many things rolling around all the time. So it's all good though. Yeah.
Do you have any black friends?
No, not really. And that's, so I've thought about it, about that. I mean, it's such a touch point in our culture right now. So Canada is a little bit different from the States. I mean, I know there are some states where there are much fewer black people. Canada has not that many black people, especially out in the center. So in Hamilton, it's about 700,000 people. And I would guess, like, if we're talking about African American people or people of African descent, I would say in Hamilton it's probably like 5% of the population or less. It's pretty low. So I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's a lot, not a lot. Some of it has to do with location. You just don't see any. I mean, we talk. Most of America is rural. It's not urban.
Exactly. Yep.
And people of color, for various reasons, navigate toward the inner cities. So when you go to, the backwoods, the country, you go to places like Iowa, the Dakotas, Minnesota, only the inner cities there have it, and the rest of the state is not populated by people of color.
Yep.
So it happens.
Yeah. The other kind of interesting thing about the demographics of our city is that probably a larger percent of the black people are recent immigrants, because Canada has a large immigration policy, refugees as well as affluent affluent immigrants. So we have a lot of like Somalian refugees, or a lot of Muslim Africans in the city. And at this point, I don't have any cross-section with that population on a day-to-day basis. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't see a lot of people in general. I'm pretty buckled down. I have my small group of buddies that I see rarely, but again, not to make excuses, but it would be really cool, because I'm in the downtown of my city. I'm in a very urban space. It would be really cool if I could find, or someone found me perhaps, who was passionate about woodworking, came from a completely different culture, especially on that immigration journey. That would be really interesting, because you'd get a whole different perspective on what I know, what all my white friends and workers know, and I think that would be great,
Right. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of making those connections. I mean, I'm absolutely open to them. I try not to see race as a benefit or negative in my life, or in the people I meet, so I'm always open to whatever. I get a lot of people contact me. They're mostly white men, occasionally white women, not a lot of ethnic people in general, but I'm not going to say it's a goal of mine, but I'm saying I'm 100% open to whatever happens. If someone knocks on my door today and says, "Hey, I worked for 10 years, in a woodworking shop in, Somalia, and I haven't worked for the last 10 years because I've been struggling to feed my family, but I'm wondering if you have maybe some work," I'd be like, yeah, that's really cool. Let's bring you in and get going, because if you have experience, you can make me money, and that's the most important thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you, that's one of the things about this is access and opportunity.
Right.
Some people may not have any experience.
Right.
And that's when it becomes a burden, because I try to make it a point to hire people of color and they don't have any experience.
Right.
And it's expensive.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Training is very, very expensive. Not to mention that person may not work out.
Yeah. They might not even enjoy it, right? So yeah.
Exactly.
But that's the struggle of being an employer, right? And that happens really to any race or any type
Yes.
of.
Yeah, that could be anyone.
Yeah, but so I have a full-time employee, and then I have a part-time employee. So we're really at the beginning stages of any business development. These are full-time people. I have a few people I work with on contract as well. But hopefully in the future we'll have more opportunities for unskilled workers to apprentice in, because that's one nice thing about trade work. There's always going to be a lower skill level job that's needed to be done. You know what I mean?
Always.
Yeah, always. Yeah. Whether it's sanding or building simple things that just need to be slapped together.
Cleaning up.
Cleaning up is a big one. Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't like it, so someone's got to do it. So yeah, I mean, and that's a fulfilling thing too, right? To be able to apprentice someone, or to be able to bring someone in and teach them skill set that hopefully earns them money and makes them a success in their own right. Either with you or without you or whatever. So
exactly.
That totally appeals to me, totally. But to be honest with you right now, my main goals are like succeeding on a very straightforward way. So the prospect of an unskilled worker is hard, but I appreciate you bringing it up, and it's important to talk about it and think about it, because life whips past, and if you don't talk and think about things, you never really develop on those subjects, right? So.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what the question is for, a conversation. Because what happens is everyone go on about their lives, and we don't really pay attention to much else but the hustle, the struggle, surviving.
Yeah. We're sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
We're really independent focused society at this point. We're not very community oriented at all. And I think even people who want to be community oriented, a lot of the organization of everything we do is against that. It's opposite to that, whether it's Instagram, as an individual presenting yourself to others, or a business where you're focused on your own business, or even things like religion that we don't practice anymore. So there's no common place that we meet at weekly to just look at each other and assess how we're doing as a group, and I think that's another big challenge of our modern existence, is that we don't open ourselves to opportunity, and we don't think about other people in a healthy way,
Yep.
And that is tough. It's tough. And if you're affluent, and I self-admittedly am a fairly affluent person, it's even easier to ignore people who need help, because
you become more selfish.
Yeah, you don't need them, right? I don't need people who need me. They need me. So it takes a focused effort on my to think about community, and it's important. I mean, I did it. So this year I did a little fundraiser for Indigenous people in Canada, because that's a pretty big subject in our social welfare discussion. The treatment of Indigenous peoples, the history of colonialism and Indigenous relationships, and so I did a fundraiser for money that went toward Indigenous business, and I felt good about that for sure. But I'd love to do more. I'd love to make it a regular thing that not only brings diversity to my space, which has a value, but also affords opportunity to people who need it. I would like to do that, and let's say here in this public sphere that I'm gonna focus on that over the next, at least 10 years. Gradually bring that in as a part of what I'm doing.
Cool. Who would you most like to have
So, sorry, you stalled out there. I missed the question.
Who would you most like to have a conversation with?
Oh, well, I mean, I have a lot of design um, models, like someone like Tyler Hayes, and I know that's an overused, kind of bloated name, but I still think he's a really cool
Never.
guy. Yeah, no, he's a cool guy.
Never.
Yeah, I
He
feel
earned that.
that's it, man. That's it. That's the way I feel about him. I identify with him a lot. I'd love to, have a coffee or a beer with him and, just hear what he's thinking, share what I'm thinking, go back and forth. That'd be really neat. But there's people like that all over the industry that I would love to just shoot the shit with, or, not even about like business growth or anything, just about, what are you thinking? What are your ideas about this or that? What drives your work? I really enjoy talking to people, actually. So I would talk to anyone almost. That's the hard thing about all the design shows being shut down is I was just starting to really enjoy, traveling to New York or other places and meeting people and making these more deeper connections, because especially if you're at a big central hub show like New York, you get people coming in from all over the country.
All over the world.
All over the world, absolutely, yeah. And you end up kind of linking up into these little groups, of like-minded people, and you go for a drink or you go for dinner, and then you make these connections that you can maintain on the internet, and like that's really fun. And I was really getting into that. So it's been a bummer this year not being able to maintain those relationships and meet new friends, but whatever, it's temporary, I think.
Exactly, I think so. All right, so we got 10 minutes.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit about where sorry, unless you have something you wanted to say.
Go ahead.
I was just curious about where you're at with your business. I mean, I've been following you a long time now, maybe 3-4 years, and I know, you do a lot of milling of logs. You pick up logs from different places, you mill them at your location, and you're building tables and stuff as well. And
Yep, we make furniture. We're doing a pretty decent job for PayPal, making some screens.
Awesome.
We have some other residential stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
We have another decent sized commercial job we're working on.
And so you have a wood shop. I saw your yard.
Yep. Yeah, we have a 5,000 square foot wood shop.
Oh, wow.
Mostly old antique American machines.
Nice.
I think I have one machine that's not American, and that's my Martin table saw. Cool.
Wow. Damn. That's a good option.
And I have a lot of machines. But, and I think in this country, they try to own patriotism as a white thing. And part of my patriotism is me having all American machines.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I've been in my family goes back in this country more than 5 generations. My grandfather's grandfather was a slave owner. My grandfather's grandmother was a slave. So you can't get any more American than I am.
No kidding. No kidding.
So and with the business, I had a yard that was in Hartsdale. It was $5,000 a month, and it was too much.
Yeah.
Because the yard was $5,000 a month. The shop was $4,000 a month.
That's a lot of.
It's a lot of overhead. And the thing is, right? Talking to people, having these conversations, made me realize, you know what? I need to make a move.
Yeah. Keep it simple. Let's keep this as simple as it possibly can.
Yep. Yeah. So I got a bigger yard. It's like 65 miles away. It's a bigger yard. It's half the price, and it's so much better. Yeah. So look, I'm going to show you this right quick. This is it.
Cool. Oh wow! Wow. Expansive. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's massive. Yeah. So right now I got the yard, which is these bays out here.
Yeah.
And on the back of the building, there are more bays in the back. Wow. So I got all of the outside. And once I get settled in, I'll take over that building.
Right. Yeah.
So
where'd you say that is now?
This is in Dover Plains.
Cool.
This is a little further east, toward Connecticut.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a nice move, man. I grew up in the country, so I know that lifestyle, or like just quieter areas, which are awesome. And the city is exciting and interesting, but if it's killing you in overhead and it's killing you on stress, sometimes you just give a big breathe out, go to your bigger country yard, and it's just less complicated, right? Nice. I like
a lot less complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Last weekend I slept in my van out here, and my only regret was I didn't get a tent. So this weekend I'm gonna get a tent.
Nice. Yeah. Get a nice mattress too. I'm getting older with my camping, and that mattress when I went, and it was a lot nicer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can we tour your shop?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, it sounds like it's kind of quiet in there, which is good. My apprentice Max working in there. You might be on a break or something, but let's go in. Oh, okay. So I'll just show you. This is like the flip you around. There we go. So this is our backyard. It's actually a big backyard. There's my trailer there. That's my friend's camper, and it goes all the way back over there. And there's some beams there I've got in storage, but we could really do a lot with it. It's just I haven't really been focusing on lumber or anything like that. But there's Mac.
Why not? Why not focus on lumber when you build stuff?
Time, basically. It's just time. And different let's flip background. Different tooling, different processes. I mean, I've been poking at it for years with arborists and mills, and being like, if I could just somehow connect the arborists and the mills, and if the arborists would, call me when they have a nice white oak log or a nice walnut log. But also, the slab industry has gone kind of wonky the last while, and I'm sure you've been a part of it, where a few years ago you could get logs almost for free, and by the time you put in your milling and drying and everything, you can come out with a viable product. But now people want you to spend money on the logs, and then it's like, okay, you just get thousands of thousands into this wood, and then I'm into it. I like the idea of doing it, but it's like way down the priority list.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. You make a very valid point. And that's what happened to all the industries. When people move in it who don't understand it, they change it.
They do. Yeah. And it's a capitalism thing again, and it's not. People want to make money. I get that. That's fine, and they want to come into an industry they don't. Hey, Mac, can you just hold off for a sec? Sorry. They want to come into an industry and take what they do know and make money. And what they do know might be sales or development or whatever. That's cool, but yeah, it can kind of ruin it for someone who really naturally could do it easily. But anyway, whatever. I'm gonna keep on this tour here. So this is the back door of our shop. I'll just give a big wide picture before I focus on what I'm doing over here. This is sort of like my bench area. We have a big cabinet on there right now. It's a really nice solid Sapele cabinet. It's got these crazy through tenons, and it's all dovetailed. Nice. Yeah, it's dovetailed on the bottom.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice cabinet. It's something I designed, a credenza I designed maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and we've done a few productions of it. So yeah, this is like my bench area. Pretty messy. A lot of hand tools. I'm a big hand tool guy. I find often I can get work done faster with hand tools than I can with machine setups. Depends, on what we're doing. There's some frames. We make frames often. There's Mac. What's up, Mac? Mac's been apprenticing with me for what, 2.5? 2.5 years. Yeah, and he's on full time now, which is great.
So he got 4 minutes left on his break.
4 minutes on your break, and then we'll get back. Yeah, exactly. So then, we got a slider for because we do some cabinetry. We don't do a lot.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you one more question about Max.
Sure.
How much experience did Max have when he came to you?
So a good amount. He was 2 years into a 4-year furniture design program.
Got it.
Yeah, and he did a program that I had done, which was a 14-month furniture building program. It was more of a tech program. and he had some experience in the industry. So he checked all the boxes, and he's into design, like creative design as well. So yeah, he's like number one employee that I was super critical about, right? Like I wouldn't just take number one, and it worked out. His good personality, more or less, right, Mac?
Yeah, for sure. And
more or less.
Max,
work on it, Max.
Yeah. on the average, Dave, you good?
Yeah.
I also had some specialized skills that were like the weaving of the meshes, which was something that we both obviously had worked towards, and I helped out in that regard.
Exactly. Yeah. So he had specialized skills that it could come in and make money right away with me, which helped. It helped me teach him how to do more complicated things because he was already making money doing things he knew how to do. Yeah. So you want to continue touring here?
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a slider, got a regular cabinet saw. So this is like, the layout is not great. I've been sharing this space actually with another cabinet maker. So this is sort of his bench area over there. He's got a slider he got recently, a Minimax slider. And then down this corridor here, we have sort of like a milling section. I got a big old Meber. So that's an Italian 36-inch bandsaw.
Okay.
So it's a big old saw. We do all of our breakout on that bandsaw. And then we got, pretty small jointer planer setup. They're both old. This is an old Canadian jointer, 8-inch, and then a 20-inch King, which is a Canadian. It's actually a foreign made brand, but this is King Canada. I just bought new planer and jointer. I'm waiting on them to be shipped. I got a Felder. In the end, I went with Felder. I don't know. It's tough because I like old machines, but I also want a new machine that's going to work reliably for me that I don't have to tinker with. As I mentioned, I'm not really a mechanical guy.
Right.
Yeah, so I went with Felder. It was, I thought about it for a while. I asked a bunch of guys that I respect, and some, they would say things like Martin or, whatever, some of the bigger brands, which I could not afford. Yeah. So
some of the bigger brands you can't even afford used.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I know. And maybe one day, it'd be great. It'd be great to have some of those really high quality tools, but a Felder puts out a good tool, I think, from my research. A lot of people have a lot of opinions, but.
So let me ask you, when you went to buy new machinery, did you buy it outright or did you get a payment plan?
Well, I made sure that I could set up a payment plan, but I didn't go to buy it until I had the money. That's the kind of guy I am. I prefer to own everything, just so I'm not leveraged. I don't want to, I work so hard to get to this point. I don't want to take a huge risk unless it's a huge opportunity. So yeah, I made sure I had the money in the bank. I'm still waiting on the tools, so I still have the money sitting there. And, when they come, I'm just going to dump it in their hands and say thank you and, move on. And it sucks to see the account drop 30 grand in one day, but it's much better, I think. I mean, I financed my truck, so I'm paying for that one monthly. But everything else in here I own outright, which means no one